Hi, this is Kathy with City Farmhouse Studio, and today I want to talk to you about the knit Summer Breeze top. It is a great summer top, great to lay over a dress, great to wear over jeans or leggings. It's just one of those that's easy to wear as a casual top or dress it up for a great time out. The yarn that it is made out of is the Premier Cotton Fair. It is 317 yards, 290 meters out of a 100-gram ball. It is a 52% cotton, 48% acrylic, size 2 fine yarn. The colorway that I used is Succulent. I've really enjoyed this yarn. It knits up really easy. It's very soft. There's just a little bit of sheen with that acrylic in it. It just really has a nice hand and nice drape. Definitely recommend it. Definitely will use it again. I did purchase this at Michael's here in the States. So with this video, I will show you the cast on and how to increase to get up to the bust line, and then also these short rows that go around the neck. I'll discuss about how to pick up for the sleeves, and most importantly, how to do that crochet edging around the neck, sleeve edge, and hem. If you don't like crochet, give it a try. If not, you can always do an I-cord or even a couple rows of purl, reverse for the stockinette, or a seed stitch. So you got some options. We'll talk more about that later. So to begin, you have a long tail cast on. So I'm going to start with my slip knot on my needle. I'm going to go into slingshot position and just cast on the desired stitches for my size. I am going to do just a small sample mock garment for this video purposes. So after you're cast on, it tells you to knit a set amount of inches in stockinette. So that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to knit a couple rows in stockinette and then show you how to increase. Okay, so I've knit a few rows of stockinette, and the instructions will tell you to knit a certain amount of inches, ending after a wrong side row. So you're going to start to want to do the knit side of the work. And at this point, you will be increasing one stitch on each side of the work. And I just want to show you how I do that. So what I do is, you have your last stitch that's on your needle. You're going to go down into the stitch right below it. And I'm going to insert my hook, my needle, as if to purl. And I'm going to twist that back up onto my needle, my left needle. And I still have my right in it. And then I'm going to knit one stitch into that, and that is my increase. And then you can go straight into your other needle, your other loops on your needle. Now, since I know that this edge stitch will be in my selvage whenever I sew the front of the garment to the back side of the garment, I'm not too worried about how that edge lays because I know it's going to be invisible once it's sewn in. And then I just knit on down to the end of the row. Okay, I've come to the end of my row. I'm going to knit my last stitch, and I need to make one more increase. So I'm going to insert into that last stitch loop from the previous row and make one more stitch. And there is my increase of one at that end. So now I will continue in stockinette, purling the next row and continuing that. And the instructions say to repeat from the stars so many more times. And the stars include the included amount of straight stockinette. So you're going to need to either measure from your stitch increase, you can put a marker, or add up your dimensions. And so for an extra small, it's 3 1/3 inches. So for the next increase, it would be 6 2/3 of an inch you want to measure from here, or just the 3 1/3 from that increase. All right, so I'm going to purl this row, and then we'll start on the neck shaping. Okay, for the neck shaping, it begins with knitting across so many stitches and then doing a short row wrap and turn. And all that is, for the instructions, it'll tell you to knit across so many stitches. All right, and then it's going to have you tell you how to wrap and turn, so that this, whenever you knit the neckline to bind off, it kind of pulls this in the row that you're going to continue on. It locks it to that stitch so there won't be a hole. And all you do is you bring your yarn to the front. I'm going to slip this purlwise, bring my yarn back, and move my loop back over, turn my work, and you're ready to purl. Okay, when you turn your work, you're going to want to make sure that your yarn does not go over your needle, so that you don't get a yarn over. You just want it to wrap around the loop that's on your needle. So after that, you just then continue to purl the row on back to the end. And for the next row, it's going to tell you to knit so many more stitches, leaving 2 more left unworked. So you'll knit down. And I can tell that's, since it's kind of pulled and distorted, that stitch, that's the one I wrapped. So those are my 2 left unworked. I'm going to bring my yarn to the front. I'm going to let go. Turn it back. Turn my work. Make sure I don't have a yarn over, and then continue to purl. Okay, and there you can start seeing those short rows, how the neckline's starting to increase up. You continue doing that the specified amount, and then you're going to bind off the shoulder stitches. You're going to either take it off on waist yarn or bind off, depending on how you want that sleeve edge on your shirt. I just went ahead and bound off and had a seam I didn't graft on my garment, but I know some people that like to do that extra step. So you're going to bind off your set number shoulder stitches, cut your yarn or start a new skein, and then you're going to repeat on this other side. And that will tell you how to knit back and forth to create the neckline going up the other way. You still do the same thing as this one, you're just coming at it from your other, you gotta switch your needles, your stitches over to the other needle so you can start that way. So then once, let's say I've bound off my shoulders, I've gone ahead and worked this side. Now to work your neckline, to get those wrapped stitches, I want to show you that. You're going to have a section that comes up for your neckline that's just straight. You're going to need to pick up some loops, some stitches along that line, and it'll tell you how many. And then it'll tell you, once you get to your wrap stitches, you to knit all the live stitches on your neck. And then it tells you on the stitches that have the wrap and turn that you not only need to knit that yarn, but you need to pick up the wrapped and your stitch and knit those two together. Okay, so here's my next one. I'm going to pick up my wrapped yarn, go into my stitch and knit those two together. And that is how you get those to close up and you don't get a hole in your neckline. Okay, so that's probably the trickiest part of the entire garment. I'm just going to finish this off and bind off, and then I'll show you how to do your crochet edging. Okay, so I went ahead and bound off my neckline, which is up here. And then I went ahead and sewed up my little bitty sweater, almost a little tube top. And I am down at the bottom edge. And I have kept my yarn live. I did not bind off, but you can do this with a bound off. You just start with the slip knot. So, where you loop over, insert your hook, and pull up. That's your slip knot. So you either start with that and a new piece of yarn or continue on from your seaming. And I have a crochet hook G, and I use the ones by Susan Bates. They have a little bit of a flat edge. This is a size G from Boy, and it has more that arrow shape. And I have tried these. I've been given a whole bunch. I think I inherited a lot from my great-grandmother. I cannot work with these one bit. I get tangled, I drop the yarn, I can't work with them. So I prefer the Susan Bates. So if you are trying crochet and you're having trouble with one hook or the other, try the other style. Usually you know somebody who crochets and they may have a style that you can try out. If not, they're fairly inexpensive to buy a plastic one or even one at a time. So it's worth trying. So to do the crochet edging, I have my loop. I'm going to go into my first stitch, kind of that first eye hole below the two from the cast on. And I'm just going to pull up one loop, and then I'm going to pull a loop through that. And that is a single crochet. So just like knitting, crochet is pulling loops through loops, except instead of having all the live loops, you just have the one. So again, I'm going to go into my next two strands, pull up one loop, and pull through two. Go through my next two, pull up one loop, and go through the two. So this is all you would do around your neckline. You would go into each stitch and just go around once, for my little mock sweater, because on the sleeve edge in the bottom hem, you will want to go 2 times around. And it's a very simple way, but I know some people kind of get a little confused. Okay, I've made it around, and you can see where those 2 loops make from my beginning. If you had the slip knot on your hook at the beginning of the single crochets, you'd be able to see that knot. Now to go ahead and go from the second one, I'm just going to go ahead and, just like you're knitting in the round, I'm going to go all the way around, just right after one in a spiral. For this pattern, you do not need to turn your work to go around. And you continue pulling up, going through the 2 loops. So just like your bound off edge, you have the 2 loops at the top. You go through, pull up 1 loop, go through the other. Pull up 1 loop, so you have 2 loops on your hook. You want to pull 1 loop through both of those to complete the single crochet. Now when you get to the end, the hardest part is knowing where you began and where you stopped. So I'm going to look back. So I'm coming up to the edge of the row. This is my first stitch from where I started. So I'm going to make 1, 2. So that completes my round. And now I'm going to go into my slip stitches to finish off my project. All that is, again, just like a single crochet, you're pulling up 1 loop, but instead of pulling another one through, you're going to pull that straight through what's on your hook. Go into the next stitch. Again, those 2, under those 2 yarns, pull 1 loop and through the loop on your hook. So this is a slip stitch. And what this does is give a nice little curved rolled edge on that single crochet. Just kind of makes it look a little bit fancier. You don't have to. You could do an I-cord bind off. You can knit, instead of continuing picking up, and instead of knitting stockinette facing this way, knit a few rows the other way for a nice curled edge. Do a couple rows of seed stitch just to give a little bit of a binding to counteract the curl of stockinette. Whatever you want to do and whatever makes you happy is the right way to do it for you. All right. So I am coming to the end. Remember, that's, you can see that's my single crochet. And that's where I started that turn. Starting to curl over, so I know that's my first slip stitch. So I need to do 1 more to finish it out. Now I'm going to go back into that first one, pull up a loop, and that binds it all off. And then I pulled 1 loop through, and I'll cut that to tie that off, and I'll weave in my ends, and that is your edging. for your sleeve hem and bottom hem. And just one row would be of single crochet for your neckline. So it's a nice, simple detail. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this pattern by City Farmhouse Studio and wear it as much as I do. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other great patterns from City Farmhouse Studio. Thanks. Bye.